Oh dear. I'm live now. Can you see it? Yeah. I've got 31 seconds on. Right. So now you can see me and the weapons all around the walls and shit like that. Hello, Graham. Yeah, no, I've got to repeat it in my ear. Yeah, we've got a delay, obviously. All right, Graham, man. That's nuts, right? I've been sat here speaking to the world for over 2 hours, right? And I can't convince myself, right, of a duty. No, just let me mute this. Oh, where's the volume? There. Can you hear me now? Cheers, man, Dad. You're a star. Yeah. Again, I've got to go back to the beginning, and none of it was there because I had it on mute. Damn. What a night. I've been speaking for hours and hours, right? And I wasn't even live, right? And I thought I was live, and I was just speaking to myself. And now all of a sudden, I was still doing it, and I was on mute. All right, sweetheart. Thank you. No good at tech. Yeah. This is also so new to me. Yeah. But I had an incredible revelation to me earlier. Yeah. And I've been talking to somebody from the Constitutional Party, uh, and realised how much of a duty I have to stand as even an MP in this part. You know, even though I don't believe I'm worthy, but nobody else is doing it under a constitutional context. I believe I have to do it. I have no choice. Whether I'm well enough or even if I can walk down the street, it's irrelevant. I have to do it. And through a conversation I thought I was having here and recorded, which it wasn't. And I've only, you know, it's nuts. So what I'm trying to do is quickly go through how that developed. And now I've got to start again because nobody heard it and my mic was muted. Thank you, Amanda. You're a darling. And you got a star, whatever that means. So, start again. For the third term. Anyway, I'm going to finish this before I go to bed. Common law and common sense have so much in connection. It's just is. It just is, right? And I think that's what justice means. It just is, right? And it works like this. Can you hear me, Amanda? Give us a heads up anyway if you can hear me now. Uh, it's no longer on mute, and it was because I'm shit at tech, right? Anyway, it's all new to me, and I'm just dying up. As you know, you've been following, well, you've seen a couple and been patient with me. So if you're still there, Amanda, give us a shout. Tell me if you can hear me, please. Yeah, that would be nice. You there, Bat? I'm sorry if you left us, but anyway, we're going to start again while we're recording, and now we've got some sound as well. Thank you, Amanda. You're a darling. You really are. Anyway, our constitutional history starts around 924, 954. Can't remember the exact date. I will do something on that, and our constitution, and I will go through a series of constitutional constructs of all of our constitutional pieces that make up the foundation of the English Constitution. The English Constitution. We will discuss it if you want, and hopefully I'll get this right where people can come in and have a chat and we can debate it. Not that we need to debate the English Constitution because it's been debated and absolutely abrogated with the British, but it still stands in perpetuity with very reasonable arguments, which have to stand because they are in perpetuity. So here we go. Ethelred the Great. Ethelred, which is an AE amalgamation. Its first letter is an A and an E, which I forget what the term is, where they're brought together. AE, they're just one letter. So it becomes a hard A, yeah? Alfred. Alfred. Yeah. Even if it looks like an AE, it's a hard E when you bring them together. Egypt was once like that. They dropped the A part and left the E. With Alfred, they dropped the E and left the A. But it's a hard A. Egypt. A. Fred. Alfred. Right? Alfred. Alfred. This is how it was said. It's a difficult one, but it's true. Check it yourself. You'll find the etymology is absolutely true, whether it's Alfred or Egypt. Right. But anyway, Alfred the Great, as we know him, yeah, back in the day, granted all the rights to the fruits of their labour. In doing so, what he did is allow free trade, and everything you worked for and produced was your right to sell as you saw fit. That was it. That was the start of the whole Constitution. Whether it's in America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, in all them communist countries today, right? Such as Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, they're all communists today, as we all know, right? Poor bastards, right? They're supposedly British protectorate, but they all went their own constitutional way, and now they're all allowing themselves to be communistic. Here in England, but now shutting all that down, and it's being argued now very wisely by some very brilliant MPs in Parliament against what we have just been going through in the last few years, which seemed very communistic, very fascistic, totalitarian, 1984, whatever you want to describe it as now being heavily attacked here. And that's because of the uprisings in this country, where the government realizes that when the people speak, they better fucking listen. They better, because we've had many goings at Parliament and the Kings and Queens before them against totalitarianism, and we have fought many times in this country, as our history shows very clearly. other countries, are doing similar things. And we are finding that many countries are fighting for them same rights. Now, the frontier labour, like I say, over 1,000 years ago, happened here in England. Before any other country on the planet. It's the first one to do it and accept that the frontier labour are yours. Fought in the court, stated in the court of the Crown Tenor says, if you work and you do this labour, then whatever you produce of that labour is yours. Unless, of course, you are a villain. Now, if you're a villain, you have a debt to pay, and therefore, whatever you produce must pay that debt off. That's what it means. Must pay that debt. And that meant you was a slave. That's the true definition of a slave and how it was used in this country over 1,000 years ago. You're a slave because you were a villain and you owed a debt. You owed a debt. Owed a debt. Anything other, if you didn't owe a debt and you were forced to work for another, you were not a slave. You're not. Not back then, you weren't. That was called forced servitude. Forced servitude. There wasn't anything else apart from that. It was forced servitude. If you was a slave, you paid a debt because you were a villain. You were a villain. From there, from roughly 924, 954, we move into 1066, the next stage of our constitution. The next stage of our constitution comes in with William the Bastard. Now, William the Bastard was just a baron running from his life. I think 20 years he was hiding around in France, sent through one place to another, always on the run for people trying to kill him because he had a right to rule in a certain area. In the end, he was able to muster enough men to come to England. It's certainly what they thought was the time of need, but also as a claim of right because of what Harold had said when he became king. He would actually give it away he would actually give it to another who was actually William of that family because of the promise he made. So William came to claim it as William the Bastard. And when he landed on England, he made a most famous quote that many assume and ascribe to others. But William was actually the first to say it in 1066. And that the air of England was so sweet that no man should remain a slave. And this is really massively important to the way England then developed from here. Because what William actually gave to England was that every Englishman was a free man. Every Englishman was a free man. Fucking free man. He's the first one to grant it. And he even wrote it down in legislation after collecting his doomsday book, and he wrote it in legislation that every Englishman was a free man unless he was a villain. And that meant you pay your debt and then you're a free man. You are free to breathe the air and gather the fruits of your labour. So now we've got these two things growing together, which gives a massive hope to all peoples of the land, not just the barons and the kings and the duchies, but to even the commoners, the plebs, such as myself, right? That we are all free men to decide ourselves on the fruits of our labour, on how to trade, and the price of that trade. What we deemed fair. And he wrote it down as legislation. Many ascribe that one comment to other people, such as William III, rather than William the Bastard, who was William the First. Not William the Second, not William the Third, but William the First. But many people ascribe it to later generations. But this is why William the Bastard became William the Conqueror. William the Conqueror became William the Conqueror not because he conquered through force of sword and spear the land of England, but because he conquered their hearts by setting them all free from serfdom. You no longer serve, but you are worthy of your production, and you should be able to trade that production rather than the Lord owned all of your production. No longer was that true. No longer was the Lord able to turn around and say, whatever you produce is mine and you're a dog. No. The Englishman had worth. These two men, Ethelred the Great and William the Conqueror, who conquered the hearts of the Englishmen by saying, you are all free men. These two created and congealed an idea which was so powerful in its creation of what it created for the Englishman, and therefore grew and kept growing through the creation of that constitution, as we'll get to further as it grows. This was so powerful that it's so spread into today where they want to destroy it because it creates something that some people think it's only worthy of the elites. But every Englishman has it as his fucking rights. Americans did it too. Others, sure, under the Commonwealth, and then created their own constitutions, which were very, very poorly constructed. We'll get to that later, and that can get rather complicated, especially that Canadian shit. Wow. Australians, not so much, it's pretty simple. It's just the Australians got. I'm not getting. I'm out in the bush. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. Oh, really? It's got that much effect on me? Yeah. Australians. Yeesh. Anyway, so from 1066, we have to then move over 100 years into the future to 1250 and Magna Carta. Now, this is the document which was done 4 times. And now I've got the dates. I'm just not going to go reach room and do that tonight. I'll construct a way of disseminating of what the changes and all of that were for the 4 different times it was done. But we'll go start and we'll work with 1215 Magna Carta, which apparently is now held in, oh, what do they call it? That big gold place in America. Apparently, it's held in Fort Knox. Wow. Anyway, that original document is so valuable that today it's so highly prized amongst everything. Everybody talks the Magna Carta 1250. And so they should. But not one of them who shout upon it, yeah, go back to 1066 and 924 to unify it in a trilogy of power which says, fucking no. You no. 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 I'll fucking slap you. No. Bring it on if you have to. It's not what we want. We'll talk. But if you want to bring the Kingsmen, now you've got a fucking problem today. Even though Kingsmen came down time and time fucking again. Look at the Tulpulu Mars and every fucking thing in between. It's a fucking joke. It's not. You say it's not real, but it fucking wasn't. They came down with some Tulpulu Mars. The king's men came down and they cut them down with their swords. And they also did it with the community charge and the poll tax. Yeah. They came down, the fucking police rode them down with their horses and the fucking batons. It's the same thing. Apart from they didn't cut them into pieces and kill them. Same shit. Some died though. But then we saw that in the vaccination fucking bullshit lockdown crap, didn't we? And there's possible 2 people died. Possible. With a crack in the fucking trenches. Except for 1, 2. One definitely survived. Don't know what happened to the other one. Still haven't figured out now. I ain't been able to. Other people may have talked about it and said he's okay or whatever. Hopefully he is. But when they walked them out, carried them out, as they did, them days. 2 on the same day it was. I'd like to know that they were all safe. You know, done bad thinking about it for one, you know, and nobody talked about it. I hope that they're okay. I really do. But it shows you not much changed except for their fear of killing Because if they kill some of us, so in 1215, the barons got King John at a certain place in Runnymede. In Runnymede, they signed the declaration of the Magna Carta. And that was held. All of its entitlements held by the king, King John. Who then went on to track down every one of those signatures that signed the Magna Carta. All of them. And all of them signatories of the Magna Carta. Yeah. 1215. Kill the shields by the side. Yeah. Yeah. No reason. King John tried to track them all down and kill them all. Watch a film called Ironclad, you get an idea of it. An idea. Not saying it's totally true, but it's an interesting story, but it's linked and it's fairly accurate. Also brutal, if you like. Medieval warfare. Yeah. Anyway, there was a further 3 finalized documents. Within 100 years of the original Magna Carta. But the Magna Carta 1215 is well known for what it did. And was to grant all rights to all freemen. Now, a lot of people, especially within the freeman, so-called freeman, which is a ridiculous notion, because you don't need to be a man to be free. If you're free, you're free. You don't need to say free man. It's a ridiculous notion which was created from an idea of socialism which detracted from reality and undermines and creates a rebel idea against what is. Now, it don't mean you can't fight and say, look, we can have a republic or whatever you want, yeah, away from the royal thing that we have today, which is up to power. Any of that can be true. You don't. The freeman thing is ridiculous because it's not correct in the sense that every man was free already since 1066. And the creation of the 1215 Magna Carta, which stated every freeman, wasn't just about the barons. It wasn't just about the lords or the knights that gained the freedom, or any that was granted freeman status from the lords or barons who had servants. That Tenor says, "You are now free from your duties to me," yeah, which created them as freemen that had already served under a lord or whatever. All men were already free before that, unless they were a villain. Right? So the idea that no man was free before then throughout the whole English history, not industry, history is ridiculous. And I remember a lefty trying to tell me that this is what the case was, and it didn't apply to me, the Magna Carta, yeah? And I believed them for a while, right? I mean, I sort of was a lefty idealist socialist at one time, yeah? Nah, not anymore. Get the fuck away from me, you weirdos. But all lefties, yeah, are just lacking in real education. That's it. That's what they are. They don't understand education. They just can't be bothered. They're lazy fucking wankers. It's simple, right? They don't want to study. They don't care to study. They're just dick fucks. There's no other way to describe them because they just accept cliches that their masters that tell them, and yet oh, we don't want this. Oh, fuck off! I haven't even wasted my time speaking to you because you're a mumbling, bumbling fucking buffoon who can't reason. Until they do, like I was, a lefty socialist. I grew up that way. Was brought up that way by my parents. Apart from my father, who was served in the forces, who was very conservative, right? But everybody else around me, apart from my father, who served in the forces, yeah, were lefties. And it seems that all those in the forces and stuff have had a great understanding about what service and duty is, yeah, to the country. No, I'm not talking about. You can say the crown, right? But does that mean to a person or to an ideal? Now, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, and you really need to get to the nitty gritty of it because if you don't get this, then you don't understand what went before. So, what did go on before? So many people misinterpreted the idea of what a free man was, yeah, and still do to today. I mean, I've been through this argument time and time again since it was first proposed to me, and do you know how ignorant I was? Shit, man. I thought I knew it all when I was 18, right? Yeah. What a joke that is. And you fuck off. Seriously. Then I met a guy, right? I'll call him Chris, right? Just because, why not? Anyway, Chris taught me how to reason properly. I thought I knew how to reason, right? By then. Chris taught me to. And we can do some on that some other time, but not right now. So the ability to reason, people think we do it all the time, and we do it by rote, right? Well, you don't. You really don't. Reason is actually hard work. And what this man showed me was that I didn't understand fuck all. Yeah. Everything I thought was right was without reason. I wasn't reasoning. I was just taking what somebody had said, and it was just a cliche. Yeah, tit for tat and all that, right? It's all clear as day, innit? No, why did tit for tat? Why did tat tat it for tit? Was there a reason behind it? You get the idea. It becomes very complex very quickly, right? And that's what reasoning is. It just is. It's very complex reasoning, especially when you're trying to judge one on one for a crime, or better still, bring yourself back to the reasoning of why you're a free man, why you should be, why equality before and not after or under the law is important. Let that sink in a minute. Why is law more important when it's before the law rather than under the law? Why is that important? Do you get it? So, 1066, 1215. 1215 exploded all the way into that. Yeah. But 1215 signed up Runnymede, yeah, which is now actually American land on Runnymede. Yeah, it's been gifted to the Americans as a gift to JFK as a hero monument. So Runnymede is now a gift to freedom as a seat of freedom. Yeah, but given to an American. Yeah, JFK. Yeah, as a gift of freedom, a recognition of freedom, and he was valued as a man who fought for freedom. And Runnymede is a gift from the English to the Americans for that. Did you know that? Wow. Blows my head. So as we move on, oh, from 1250, we end up making quite a substantial jump, because many years that was argued and tossed about and whatever, but it always remained that Englishman was free, his home was his castle, became more and more established. But we get to 1706, It's weird that 1706 is a massive fucking. Yeah. So we just had some fucking twat trying to spam us. Third person on the line, right? Somebody tried spamming and just doing loads of fucking advertising bullshit. We'll give them more than that. Wow. I wonder if he gives it a like. Anyway, we get to 1706. But before that, and I just want to check something. Let me just move some stuff around. Uh, what was that? Open new. That over there. Just want to ask you a question, right? So what I want to do is bring up a time when before 1706. I want to see if uh, 3 crowns or the act. Uh, uh, mm, mm. No, I don't want to give it. I really don't want to give it. The act of the 3 crowns. All those images. But we're going to get all that woke nonsense. Holds 3 crowns. That's interesting in itself. Uh, we'll save that and then go. Right, because it's not. It probably does have some connection to it. Especially with King Billy, but the Union of the Crowns. That was that's 17th century, so 1600s. Yeah, that might be it. Century England and Scotland were two entirely independent kingdoms. Changed dramatically in 1603 on the death of Elizabeth I of England because the Queen had died unmarried and childless. Wow. The English crown passed to the next available heir, her cousin James VI, King of Scotland, after Mary and all that bollocks. Uh, that's something I'm going to have to really do some research on. But that's the Union of the Crown. Anyway, so the 3 crowns of Scotland, England, and Wales. Oh, so that was directly enabled after sometime after Elizabeth first died. I'm talking, trying some shit with this camera and everything, and trying to get it working. Looking at that, yeah, straight there at the camera, and yet looking at that, expecting it to be the same as when I'm looking here where the camera is. So that picture is just, yeah. Anyway, not gonna worry too much about that until you can get that right sometime. Got it right once. Yeah. Shit. I'm losing myself. I've done this already tonight, except for it didn't record. So I'm redoing it. And it's sad because I did it really well last time. And I want to give it justice this time too. So what was I? The 3 crowns. And 1706. But the actor 3 crowns is not widely known. And I'm not going to go over it too much now. Because what I want to go through is how we evolved into where we are and the problems because of 1706. The axis of recount was stable before that, before 1706. And it's looking like it was 1600 and something back then, maybe. Yeah. And it wasn't until 1707 rather than 1706 that the key dates of Parliament accepted it into being what we know as the Union, even though it's dated 1706. It's awkward. So when we get to 1706, the reason the 1706 Union was signed, or the Union of Jacob was signed, that's what it is, it's the Union of Jacob, even though it's known as the 1706 Union Act, right? It is the Union of Jacob, hence the Union Jack. Jacob is Jack. Jacob is Israeli. Jack is English. It's the translation of the tribe of Jacob. Didn't know that. Didn't want to know that. Still don't want to know that. I get it. You think it's racist. You think it's all this and all that, right? Shut the fuck up and just go read it for yourself and find out what the truth for your own self, right? It's a fact. It's the Union of Jacob. It's the Jack. The Union Jack. My son's name is his middle name is Jack, right? And Jack in itself is it's a steadfast name, right? It really is. But in this instance, that's what it was meant to be. It's a steadfast against Scotland. Now, the only 2 signatories of the Union of the, the Union of 1706 was the signing between Scotland and England. Rather, Kings, Scotland and England. Right. Like the people have to say, right? Ships so they can cut you out. 1706. Scotland had decided to to invade South Africa. Yeah, fucking piss of us. Fucking do it overnight, man. Give us a fucking liter of whiskey and we're fucking done. Okay. Off we go. Except for it takes it longer and longer and longer. And they're having to pay wages and the shipments and more soldiers because they're fucking dying against the South Africans, right? The Boers. Right? So the Scottish should attack the Boers before England did, right? And this is interesting when you think about it. It's something I want to look at and how close that reasoning is between the English and the Scots, right? They did it best, right? Because there's got to be a manipulation from the fucking English, right? To get the Scots to do it. Because they're all under a nation of fucking 3 crowns. So the English must have turned around and says, fucking in away with you, lad. You know, you go for it. You go for it. And we'll see what happens, right? The Scotland one just fucking going off on one anyway, you know, without making setting aware because we already had the axe of the 3 crowns, right? So off the Scotsman, who did a little bit of with a little kilts and we go blowing our fucking horns as we do. And they bankrupt themselves. No money. So what did they do? They signed themselves under the Union, the Acts of Union of 1706, with their finances to save them from economic collapse because they was done. Now, the United Kingdoms of Jacob had them on the ball. That means it already existed here, right? The kingdom of Jacob already existed in England. And that's because there's a further history, but on how that got to be there, it's a fucking it's a lengthy story. I'm not going into that right now. Not into that. Of the Lost Kings, 6 Kings, the Iscot Kings, the Vikings, King Canute, united the 5 kings. Didn't get the 6 kingdoms together, though. Not Canute. Not until with the United Kingdom and that. Oh, motherfucker. And of course, the whole sordid European Empire and the EU, which is that today, is all a part of that history, which you are not even aware of. Oh, I'll dig that out. Make it better present it to you so I can do it proper factually with statements. We've even got some amazing speakers telling that story about how that created. Yeah, I'll leave it till then. So we're moving on now. We've got the signing because Scotland just bankrupted itself and signed itself now to the monetary system of England and sterling, which is rather weird since sterling's fucking Scottish and it's shitty silver, not quite as good as normal silver, right? Because it's 99 point, is it 97, 96, 97% pure, where pure silver is 99.999999, right? So sterling shit, right, for silver. And everyone says, oh, it's the fucking silver. There is, right? No, it ain't. It's shit. Well, they went on to make the world believe that sterling silver is all that is, right? And it's no, it's shit. But it's pound sterling economically. Something right? It's powerful, right? But silver, it's shit. It's not pure, and the rest of the world knew it. But it's power, right? It's a bit like the American dollar now, right? You know, we're the fucking strongest, ain't you? Yeah, well, Brick says otherwise, and they went, you fucking dare and we'll blow you up. Really? Like, joining Bricks. It's just like that, because sterling is shit. It always was. Because it's not pure. And the Scots should have moved away straight away and gone to independence. Well, they couldn't then because they were scared shit. Well, they would have played plenty of opportunities to do so since. I guess they just forgot their history. So anybody asked you about the acts of the fucking union, yeah, and the turn around and said, "Oh, we're fucking British. We're all fucking sworn together." Yeah, ask them why. Ask says who? Because they're not. The acts of the union were only to bind Scotland and England. Had fuck all to do with Wales and Ireland or Northern Ireland. Nothing. Not a thing. It's because Scotland was bankrupt and England took its debt to control the country. That's it. Now else, debt. That's the act of the union. Now, you want to swear allegiance to the British because, oh, God, Queen and fucking country. Bad, God, Queen and country. Does that say countries? Has that got anything to do with. You make out as though Britain is a country, right? It never has been, never will be. Fuck the British. Britain never existed as a country, except for on paper. And you think the Acts of the Union were brilliant. The Acts of the Union don't mean shit, apart from a financial rescue for Scotland, for which we've forever fucking, in England, paid more than we ever should have, while they whine as they fucking do. It's time England and the English turned around and said, we're gonna fucking whine now, cunt, and stop it. I don't think I would normally put it like that. But, hey, it's a base reality. And I have a few Scottish friends, that I adore, I really do, the funniest Scots. Yeah, you can love. And I do. I have a few Scottish friends. They love living here in England. And they're very patriotic and they was very, supportive of the Queen. Well, it's because they're like, she likes Balmoral and she loves Scotland. I wonder why that is. Is that because she's part of the Stuart family? No, is he fuck? He just took over that fucking thing. As we all know, the real name, Saxe Coburg Gotha. Right? Which is German. Then during the Second World War, Saxe Coburg Gotha, the prince, ended up signing with Hitler. Not like he had much fucking choice, right? Because sometimes, when shit breaks down in a country, and people's might I mean, you saw the SARS getting killed just a little while before, right? It's like, yeah, I'll support her there. I'll keep my head on my shoulders, right? I can't, so I became part of the military and stuff. Uh, yeah. So understandable, I suppose. You know, I wouldn't ever say that all royals and that, were bad people and all manipulated into a globalist echelon back then because it wasn't not like it is today. It's a different story. And even today, I'm not too sure that a lot of them, the royals, would exactly say the same thing. And we'll probably find that Prince Andrew, right, who was just a raving fucking whatever, right, would actually be more amenable to uh, freedom because it gives him freedom, right? Not that you want to support that, but you know, it's just taking a totally different divergence from my original fucking uh, spiel to the creation of where we are. So what did I do? So we had we were in 1706. Oh, really? We should have been to the American Civil War. 17. Did I already do that? The breakdown. Why? Oh God. I think I'm going to leave it here and discuss later and go back over this and see what I've missed, see what I've said because I can't remember. I can't remember if I did the 1706 properly. Because that's so important with the common law. And I've got sidetracked with history rather than the common law, which I originally did in the first place. So I'm going to leave it here, end it, and then I'm going to watch this back and see what I missed and do another one. Not today, but well, yeah, maybe today, but so I'm going to say good night, everybody, and I'm going to leave it for now and get back to this. And I think I'm going to go back into the 1706 because it's a massive important part of transition. And if I haven't discussed it live, which I thought I had, because that's before this came on and I actually pressed live, I've been ranting to me fucking self for hours. Anyway, I'm going to end it now. Yeah.